So welcome to the Christmas 2022 episode of Previews. And while we do not have Rudolph or Frosty here, we do have Scott Reed joined by
Mike Atchison
and Chad Schubert.
And this, of course, is the Campus Comics Cast, the official podcast for Muddy Monster Comics in Murfreesboro, Illinois, located at 1422 Walnut Street. And especially this time of year, if you need something, if you're still in a creepy crawly mood, you need some Universal Monsters for Christmas gifts, be sure to stop in the shop. Mike has a ton of Universal Monsters, Frankenstein's mummy stuff that are easy to wrap, would fit great underneath the Christmas tree. So let's just dive into previews. First up, as usual, we have DC. First thing, I guess, is for once, and I don't know, maybe this happened the last couple of months, but Batman's not headlining the DC book again, right, which is kind of odd. So
yeah, it is. It's, I mean, he's still got a hefty portion of the catalog, but the headline event is the
return of Kal-El.
Yeah, the return of Kal-El, and basically the dawn of the DC. I don't know. It's a banner that they're going to go under for a while. I don't know if much is changing because we don't know exactly what the end of Dark Crisis is, but I'm happy to see Superman have his own book again and not just action. So yeah, that's something new. I'm kind of glad to see that.
So is Dawn of DC the dawn of the comic book universe DC or of Dark Crisis? Is that I didn't even put that together that was also a DC until just now.
I mean, you guys tell me what you think, but I think it's just another banner under which it's kind of like what you asked maybe an episode or two ago, Shad, what Infinite Frontier, what that was all about.
Right.
It's just like a bridge between one event to the next, or maybe from one event to the next status quo.
Gotcha.
And give them opportunity. I haven't read any release information. I heard on a podcast there was, of some of the upcoming books that are coming out and creative teams. So it's kind of a launching pad for that kind of stuff. Like I said, the status quo.
Gotcha.
Well, it's really a chance for them to go through and renumber things back to number ones and have 16 variant covers for a book. Is kind of really what it's about. So they're wanting to get the suckers occasionally like me who will go out and buy every single copy of a Superman number one. Like I idiotically did with like Action Comics 1000, Detective 1000, and stuff like that. But I'm not falling for that trap anymore. So
yeah, we'll see.
But no, I'm not gonna. I mean, I might get a copy of Superman number one to read, just because it's got Joshua Williamson at the helm, and we're back to Clark Kent heading up the book. So we'll see, but I haven't been reading Superman in a long time.
Yeah.
And that's not really, it's going to be tough to draw me back in. So.
Well, I was perfectly happy with Action Comics that last run, the War World saga by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Although this will be a different type of book, I think you can tell by the cover, you can tell by the artist, Jamal Campbell, definitely more of a, I think he's got I can't really describe the art except that it's brighter. It's kind of like he did really well with sci-fi, like he did with the Green Lantern Far Sector series. And I think his style will play in favor of that here. So I don't know that it's going, if it doesn't grab me right away, I don't know that I'll keep up with it either. I do know that Philip Kennedy Johnson staying on Action it's causing me to stay with Action.
All right, my next thing's not till page 20, so you guys go until we hit page 20.
I got 6. Where are you at, Mike?
I think I mentioned the little windows I'm looking at, and it's hard to tell. I don't have anything until the Batman One Bad Day, so I think it's past that.
Just a couple of things in Lazarus Planet. There's on page 6, Lazarus Planet. Next Evolution number 1 is a new character alert for a character named Vigil. I don't know anything about Lazarus Planet, but just pointing that out. And then on page 7, there's a Lazarus Planet. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that. Dark Fate number 1. And it looks, and I mean, nobody's reading I guess Lazarus Planet hasn't come out yet, right? It's not that.
I don't know.
I don't think it's started yet.
I want to say it's one of those really fast little miniseries.
It's like a 2-month.
Yeah,
it's like a January, February thing.
Well, it's done because we have Lazarus Planet Omega on page 8, which is the final issue. So it was really just one of those short tie-ins. Didn't it fall out of something to do with the Batman versus Robin series?
Yes, which also finishes up this month.
Yeah. So I think it's just they're throwing stuff out there just to see what they can do. So.
Well, Dark Fate has Doom Patrol on the cover of it, so I'm wondering if we're gonna get a new Doom Patrol book out of this little.
We are.
Are we really? Okay.
We are. I did hear that. Are you saying it reminded me that I heard that? And in Lazarus Planet, it rolls out of the Batman versus Robin, but that rolled out of World's Finest, the Batman Superman World's Finest by Mark Waid. This is all a big Mark Waid conception, even though there's other writers and artists and stuff involved. But I think the basic premise for Lazarus Planet is it somehow is giving characters new or different powers, which is very much in line with what Waid did in Underworld Unleashed, and where a bunch of characters sort of sold their soul for new powers, mostly villains.
Gotcha. Cool. I don't have anything till 33.
Okay, so 14 is your one bad day, I think, Mike.
Yeah.
For Clayface.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just I think I don't know if this is the last.
It's got to be close if it's not.
It's getting close, but I haven't been able to pick up every one of them. But eventually I will collect them. Maybe I'll even, if it comes out like as a hardcover. The ones I've read have been really good, and I do like Clayface as a character, no matter what, whether it's the original one or the second one or the third one or the eighth one. Or there's been many of them. But then looking at a lot of the writers for these one shots are very well-known writers. I can't say I know this Colin Kelly super well. I can't even place where I've heard the name before.
No.
Mm-mm. So anyway, that's just, I want to mention these are all these prestige format books, one shots, 64 pages long, $8 each, and I'll probably just be a completist and get this.
So page 20, we've got the deluxe edition of Batman Spawn, and this is the Todd McFarlane, Frank Miller. Oh, it looks like it's actually going to have both books in it. I saw the cover and assumed it was just the Miller McFarlane, but it also has the Doug Monk, Chuck Dixon, Alan Grant Batman Spawn book as well. So you can have both of those books in one hardcover. Having it in hardcover would be nice. I think everybody only cares about the Miller McFarlane one though. You can usually find the Dixon Grant one for $5 and the Miller McFarlane one for $15-20. So you could probably actually buy these out in the wild a little less than the $30 price tag for these, but then probably not
nice to have the new one.
Oh, absolutely. So page 22, Static Shadows of Dakota. I think this is a resolicit. I'm pretty sure we talked about this Static first issue in the past.
Yes. In fact, if you recall, I was like, Scott, whatever happened to my Static Shadows of Dakota? And you said it dropped from the list from Diamond or from Lunar. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's not going to be, whatever.
Hey, you know how to pick them, between this and Peter King's Thunderbolt. You are the king of picking the dead comics. So, So be sure to put this back on your order list if you wanted it previously. So I'm at 41 is my next thing. So
right along the line with the milestone on page 24, you have Milestone's 30th anniversary special, and the cover is the homage to Flash 123, Flash of Two Worlds. People that like to buy those kinds of covers, homage covers, I'm sure there'll be people picking it up just for that. But hopefully they enjoy the story as well.
I think Milestone is great, but in 30 years, I think they've maybe had 3 years worth of books.
To say it's the 30th, that kind of is a it's not real. It's misleading a bit, isn't it?
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. 41. I'm at 41. You guys,
I got
what else?
33.
Okay.
On 33, I just want to point out how weird it is that we're resoliciting the Batman 1989 movie adaptation. I realize that what it's for is because of the Flash movie, but it just seems like a really weird choice on there. And you can also get it on page, 32. You can get the 3. You can get Flashpoint, the movie adaptation of the 89 Batman, and the Fastest Man Alive book in this nice little slipcover, it looks like. I will tell you that I've read the first 2 issues of the 3 issues of Fastest Man Alive, and it's absolutely horrible.
Oh, you're kidding.
It is not good. The art is really questionable, and the story is off the rails, and it's a different creative team with every issue, I guess. So
Oh, that's not good.
yeah, so whatever that was supposed to be promoting with the movie, I don't think it's doing a great job.
I have okay on page 34, Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham. It's a new edition. I've never heard of this.
The Mike Mignola, yeah.
Yeah, Mike, have you heard of this?
You're Say that
the
again.
Guy. So on page 34,
yeah, that's
the Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham new edition. Mike Mignola and Richard Pace, right? I'm not familiar. I've never heard of this book before. So
no, and it's a gun-toting Batman. It appears.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it was maybe at one point released under the Elseworlds banner, if I'm not mistaken. But I do remember it coming out.
Yeah, well, I know like Gotham by Gaslight was, and was it Mignola on that as well?
I don't think so. Was he?
I thought he at least did the cover, because when I think of it, that's what the cover or the art I imagine.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of a totally different cover for Gotham by Gaslight.
That was technically, I think, the first Elseworlds story. But yeah, I'm not familiar with this.
Okay, well,
I guess they're making an animated movie of it.
Yeah, that's why they're resoliciting it. It's the story that inspired the upcoming DC animated movie.
Are they doing the animation in like Mignola? Like, that would be awesome. I doubt that's what they're doing, since he didn't do interiors on this book. But but that would be awesome to see his artwork animated.
Yeah, could be. I doubt it though.
I doubt it. Yeah,
that would be too much work, I think, for an animation studio.
Oh yeah.
Have to do that much, mimicking of
an even
style. And could they do it and do it justice? So
no, probably not.
I'm still on 41, so
okay. I'm done. So you're.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so I just want to talk about this cover to Stargirl, The Lost Children #4. So you got Stargirl reading an issue of Flash Comics. It just totally reminds me of that Justice League comic. Where Guy Gardner is reading about General Glory, and like his hair is all blown back, and his eyes all huge and stuff like that. So I'm sure they aren't deliberately homaging that, but it's exactly what I think about whenever I look at that cover. So
yeah, and we talked about this before. It's one of the things that DC universe is kind of unique in that different universes are represented. Their stories are told in comic books, but the real, quote unquote, real Earths they live on are in an alternate universe. So that's kind of neat that they're doing it like that. I do like that cover though.
Yeah.
And what I've read so far about in that series is great. I mean, just really good.
All right, we're ready to move on to Marvel.
I got one mention on page 46. It was toward the end here, and it just because the cover caught my eye. And it's called Legends of the DC Universe, Carmine Infantino. And that cover, if it's not a direct lift, it's not like Carmine's around to redo this, but that cover looks very much like the fanzine, the DC fanzine that was called The Amazing World of DC Comics. And there was one that, you know what, maybe it was either that or there was one of those, I don't know, like DC specials or something like that. So this actually collects some of his work, so I don't know.
It's signed as if Carmine Infantino drew this.
Yeah.
So yeah, because you have his signature there below his desk and below his foot.
Yeah.
So he apparently this is something that he drew of himself. So
I just can't remember where I've seen it before. I'll probably pick it up because it's a hardcover, and it's going to have some pretty cool stories in it. Even going back to his early work he started in the late 40s, and it was really nice. It wasn't until the 80s where it just changed completely. Yeah, that's it for me.
That's it. All right, move on to Marvel then.
Yeah.
All right, so Marvel's doing something kind of nifty this month. I didn't find them all, but they are doing variant covers of no prizes, and it's basically an envelope as the cover, and it has like Black Panther or Hulk or the two that I saw, where it's just a no prize variant for some of the books. So, so I thought that was humorous. And then on page 1, we have another Disney 100 cover. This one's homaging Fantastic Four #1. This is going to be a variant cover for Amazing Spider-Man 19. And I do think that this is a 1 in 100 cover. You got to order 100 copies.
That's so crazy.
Of Amazing Spider-Man 19 to get this cover. So completists out there, be warned if you're wanting to get all those Disney 100s. The Amazing Spider-Man 17, which I didn't tell you about until past the order date.
Yeah.
But the Amazing Spider-Man 19 is going to cost you big bucks if you pre-order this, because somebody's got to order 100 copies of the regular issue to get you that one copy of the homage cover.
Yeah, I wish I would have known. I probably wouldn't have ordered the first one, because it's like, well, if I'm not going to have all of them, what's the point?
What's the point? Yeah. Looks like the next big event is the Sins of Sinister. So I guess it's a Mr. Sinister thing. It is going to cross over more than just X-Men, but it looks like it's focusing a little bit on X-Men. And for sure, if you are a fan of the combo character, this is probably a book that you're going to want to pick up. I mean, here, like, you apparently have Mr. Sinister combined with Captain America. I did saw a Wagnerine, which is a combination of Kurt Wagner and Wolverine. So, yeah, I'm sure there will be others inside of this book. So if you're a fan of the mashup, absolutely, this is a book you're going to want to grab, or a series of books that you're going to want to grab. So,
yeah, I agree. I like some of these amalgam characters, and I definitely like that what they call them, Wagnerine.
Yeah. Or I guess it's Wagnerine.
Wagner, Kurt Wagner.
Kurt Wagner, since he is German. So, page 12 is my next thing.
Cool. I'm good until a little bit farther.
All right. Well, Blade's daughter is getting her own series. Bloodline, Daughter of Blade is going to be a 5-issue series. Her first appearance, for anybody who's keeping track, was in the Free Comic Book Day Avengers X-Men book this year.
That's right,
so if this is a character that's of interest to you and you haven't picked up the Free Comic Book Day book yet, you'll want to grab that and then read this series. Page 16, Betsy Braddock is getting another title. And I bring this up because I guess I didn't realize that they had body swapped her back. So, because she had been body swapped into, and I can't remember what character it was that she had been body swapped into, but now she's back in her original body. So, so, and I guess like she's back in the UK as well. So
now, is this a character? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask who Betsy Braddock is.
Okay, so Psylocke is who she is most known for. So X-Men 256-ish, she was body swapped. She actually became Asian. So whatever they body swapped her, she still had, the same kind of psychic powers.
Okay.
And I actually looked up and saw the name of who that she had been swapped with, but I didn't write it down. But now, again, she's back to her original, or more closely to her original appearance. So she's been swapped back.
Got it.
Well, that covers my question. I was going to ask what the first appearance was because I knew you know it.
Oh. Well, that was her first appearance as the Asian version of Psylocke.
Right.
Yeah, her first appearance was in New Mutants Annual #2 as Betsy Braddock, and that may be her first U.S. appearance, because I think that she was a Marvel UK character first.
Do you have one of those? You know how quarterbacks have the little plays on their arms? Is that what you have for first appearances?
Nothing up my sleeves. Nothing up my sleeves. So, well, you got to look for these things whenever you're going through bargain bins, right?
Oh yeah,
Got to kind of have an idea about some of these more obscure characters. I miss them all the time, but this is one that I remember. So page 18, because we do not have enough school books between Teen Titans Academy and Avengers Academy and Strange Academy. We now have the Bishop War College. So we have yet another one. At least this time it looks like they're just bringing in existing characters as opposed to introducing, a lot of new characters. Though my big question is the cover that they show us on page 19 is, when did Cyclops get an afro, is what I want to know. Because I'm assuming that's supposed to be Cyclops, and he has not sported the afro in the past. Maybe that's a different character.
That's got to be a multiverse character. Yeah, that is definitely.
I don't know what to think about that. So, I mean, because everybody else is, well, you know what, Jean Grey.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a,
Well, it does say the All Black X-Men team in there, and then it does name off the students: Armor, Surge, Cam Long, Ara Charles, and Amas.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming maybe that's these alternative characters' names.
No,
maybe?
none of them. No, those are all. I'm pretty sure that, like, I know for a fact Armor is an existing character.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And yeah, they don't show any of those characters on either of these covers.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. You know what? Now I had missed that part about the All Black X-Men team. So
yeah.
So I guess maybe it's a multiverse. Maybe it's a multiverse title. See, Bishop's just from the future though. So
yeah. Could be a timeline.
It's gonna be weird. I have not been keeping up with X-Men. They lost me when they came back with so many titles. And I just didn't even try to keep up with it. I was like, it's too much. Not gonna go from 0 to 12 titles in 1 month. So they never had a shot. So 22 is my next thing.
Okay.
I'm not till 69.
Okay, all right. Well, then Silver Surfer Ghostlight, we have a new 5-issue series. Potentially a new character alert here, the character being Ghostlight. I think Ghostlight is pictured on page 23, kind of being held in the Surfer's palm there for the cover. And it's written by somebody I'm not familiar with, but they are an Eisner Award winner, John Jennings. So could be worth a read. Page 25. Mike, did you want to talk about this one?
That's uncanny that you said that, because that is what I had earmarked here. It's a facsimile edition of Avengers 8.
You're on page 24. I'm on page 25.
Oh, 24. Okay.
So go ahead with 24.
Yep, 24. You're right. 24's Avengers 8 is the first appearance of Kang the Conqueror, and with Kang being sort of front and center in the Marvel universe right now, I'm sure they're capitalizing on that. But I wouldn't mind having this. I'm sure I'll get it. I don't know if it's not like it's something you would see in the back issue bins every day. No. So right. Yep, that was mine. You got 25?
Yeah, I thought you might have 25.
No.
Okay. So this is the second issue of Avengers War Across Time. Notice that it still lists the writer as Paul Levitz and the art and cover by Alan Davis, and that is correct. I had seen a solicit earlier which listed a different writer and artist. And then what's funny is I saw this and I just actually got on Facebook and posted to his page where he was talking about issue 1 coming out, and I just said, hey, to Paul Levitz, I saw a solicit where you weren't listed as the writer on issue 2. Are you going to be on the book? And he said yes. He confirmed he's on it for the entire series. So there you go.
That's good. Yeah, because that was very strange that whatever you've seen in the that was advertised earlier, I thought, well, that doesn't make sense at all. Because
it was weird that it would just be one issue, and but it was just kind of an oddball thing. So
it's cool that you did have that that you got a hold of him through his Facebook page.
Well, see, here's the thing, because we have the Campus Comics page, right? Campus Comics Cast page on Facebook. So I saw, and for some reason I clicked on this link for following. I thought, I didn't remember there being like a separate, they have likes on Facebook, and then they have things that people that follow you have followers. Well, I clicked the following thinking that was people who were following us. and I saw Paul Levitz. It's like, oh my gosh, why is Paul Levitz following our Campus Comics? But no, apparently one of the three of us has gotten on the page, and now that Facebook does all that crazy acting as Campus Comics Cast, they went. One of the two of you has went through and liked a whole bunch of pages, and now they're all showing up in the Campus Comics Cast.
Well, guilty as charged because I do follow Paul Levitz, and
but now you followed him twice.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm just glad there's certain things that you weren't following as that page, because then we'd have something to talk about, Lucy. So,
all right.
Page 26, we have Avengers number 65, and I just looked this one up just a little bit extra because it talks about this character, Avengers Prime, who I had not heard of previously, but this will not, in fact, be their first appearance. So it's apparently a character that Jason Aaron's been hinting at and a little bit here in some of the preceding issues of Avengers. So nope, not a new character. If we were looking for that, we've already missed that boat. It has sailed. So now I'm good till 53.
I had this, I'm not really sure why, but it was it's the third issue of Monica Rambeau, Photon, and I haven't been able to read the first issue out. I don't know if it's come out. It probably has, and I just don't have it. But again, the artwork looks fantastic.
What about that Planet of the Apes variant for it?
Oh, yeah, there is.
Marvel does these random variants that sometimes just don't make any sense. It's like, why is this the planet? Why is that the Planet of the Apes? I don't know. There's like several Planet of the Apes covers.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch has one too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's just there was one for Immoral X-Men number 1. Yeah, they're just all over the place. So Marvel, what are you thinking? I'm still 53.
32 for me. This is Joe Fixit, number 2 out of 5, and the only reason I brought it up is I just heard that Peter David was having some health issues.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there was some fundraising efforts going on to help him out, but hopefully he can recover and keep doing what he's doing. But I don't know if it'll even affect this series. Maybe he has most of it finished before he had the latest stuff happen. But anyway, that's the reason I earmarked this one. Had you guys heard about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I probably heard about it the same place that you heard about it, Mike.
Of
course, you were live and in person as opposed to listening to it later. So.
Oh, that's right. Boy, I tell you what, you're quite the detective.
I'm still on 53, so.
I got 69.
Go ahead.
All right, so page 53, this is one of those no prize covers. So it's Black Panther number 14. So if you want to see what it is I'm talking about, right here, it's just a plain cover. This is Black Panther, no prize, and there's an envelope on the front. It says congratulations. So yeah. Oh, it's got Namor in it, so I guess that's something. And there's one for the Hulk too. I can't remember. Have we already passed the Hulk? Oh well, it doesn't matter. But then on 67, 65 is where the Hulk one is. It's basically the exact same green instead of the more purplish like the Black Panther was. Says no prize and has congratulations, little Hulk head in the upper left hand corner. But on page 67, we got Daredevil number 8, and here it looks like we are getting a little crossover from the Jason Aaron Punisher series alongside the Chip Zdarsky Daredevil series. And these are two characters that are both considered street level, and they've gone up against each other numerous times in the past. And we saw a little taste of that in like the Netflix series, like how their worldviews kind of differ from each other. But now they're apparently both leading hand factions. So we'll see them tangle again. I hope it's more than a one issue crossover. I hope it actually, this is one crossover I like to see go for several issues and back and forth across both those books. So
yeah.
And then my next thing is 70.
All right. Well, 69, we have Star Wars Sana Staros number 1. So Sana Staros, which was originally introduced in the I don't know, the 5th issue. It was like really early on in the Marvel retake over of the Star Wars series as Sana Solo, and was introduced as Han Solo's wife. And we later found out more about her and her story, and she's getting her first solo series now. So
is this set in the past?
Well, I don't know because all their other series, all their normal series are all generally being set between Empire and Return of the Jedi right now. So it could be that this is. It seems as though it could be a kind of a telling of stories, like she's gonna tell about her past through a current story or current time, or it could be set, I guess, wherever. Because I know that obviously like the Yoda series that's going on right now isn't told in time with the rest of them, so they kind of get outside of it. But generally, everything right now is between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
I'm not till 89.
Okay. Well, for once, Marvel has their act together on Free Comic Book Day. They actually have what all 4 of their Free Comic Book Day books are going to be for once. So usually it's like even a month or 2 before you'll see TBAs, but not this year. They've got them. We're going to get a Spider-Man Venom, an Avengers X-Men, a Marvel Voices, and a Spidey and His Amazing Friends. This is that's the kids oriented Disney Junior type series. So
that's impressive. They have it out already. I mean, it's only December.
And I'm done with Marvel. Yeah.
Okay. On 89, just a mention that the Immortal Hulk Omnibus hardcover is now available to buy. So if you really liked Mortal Hulk and all of its extra side stories, the Gamma Flight miniseries, it's all packed into one hardcover for $150.
Yeah, maybe we should go back and reprise or resurrect our podcast coverage of Immortal Hulk 1 through 50. We could do all those spin-offs too.
That's right.
That was a long.
That was, and the ending was so disappointing that I don't want to go back to it. So.
Yeah, it did kind of. Yeah,
I'd have to stop after like the first 2 trades. So
yeah, I wouldn't mind reading it again. Reading some of this, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Big book. All right. I'm once again sans catalog, so you will have to help me out here a little bit on, because I just have it by distributor, not by. Or by company rather, not by page number. So
all right. Scott, we're here for you.
Okay, all right. So
well, Atch is here for you. I don't have a big book either. So
okay, all right. Are you working off of the site too, or are you doing something else?
I've got my links for all the books that I had flagged, so going to the previews world from there.
All right, I'm still pulling up the online catalog. Now, one thing that I noticed that I saw online, and there is absolutely zero information on the website, is something called Hallows Eve #1. I don't remember what publisher it was from, because I still haven't pulled up got the link yet to the digital catalog.
That sounds like a book I've read before.
Yeah, but it's gosh, okay, let me see if I can do a Control F here. I don't have everything expanded, so Hallows, nope. All right, so it may take me a minute to find it, but it's big enough that there are going to be 6 different covers to it.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so it's like, what in the heck is going on? So this is not a small book. Maybe it must be Dynamite, because it's got 6 covers.
That's true. Good point.
Maybe it's down to Dynamite. I'll find it there, but I'll try to mention it whenever I get to it. So
right.
Okay.
Okay. So image first.
Yep.
We got Local Man #1, written by Tim Seeley, art by Tony Fleecs and Tim Seeley. And basically, this one's going to be odd because it's a flip book of all things.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the main story, which is written by Tim Seeley, drawn by Tony Fleecs, and then the flip book is written by Tim Seeley, drawn by Tim Seeley. So basically, it's about a hero who has something bad happened to him, right? So he has to go back home to live in Farmington, which I thought was kind of interesting because if Mike, there's in there Farmington, Missouri, not far from you, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's Farmington, Missouri that he's going home to or not. So he has to go back and live with his parents. So be on the lookout on the street next time you're in Farmington. See if you see this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I had this marked too. It's mostly because of Tony Fleeks and the Stray Dogs being the creator of that. And I like Tim Seeley as well. The premise seems pretty cool. I mean, I'm looking at some of the art of the I don't know if that's supposed to be a flashback page or if that's just part of the advertisement here, but this 90s type character that he was one of, Crossjack. That looks kind of fun. Just to read that dialogue is pretty fun.
Well, and I'm wondering if that's the flip book aspect of it is, are they gonna tell on one side of it is gonna be like a 90s superhero book, and then the other side's gonna be him currently.
So it's gonna be a flashback. The flip is gonna be a flashback.
Okay.
Yeah, a superhero flashback into the depths of the Image universe drawn by Seeley. So.
Okay. Yep.
So there you go.
It's very 90s art. So.
I don't know. I was going to talk about Torrent unless somebody else wants to talk about Torrent.
No.
Go ahead.
All right. So Torrent #1 from Mark Guggenheim and Justin Greenwood. Pretty brutal cover to this series. It gives me kind of a Hit Girl feel.
Mm-hmm.
But basically we have a happy-go-lucky hero, Crackerjack, until tragedy forces her to cross the line from hero to vigilante. So it's one of those hero becomes the anti-hero type of situations. But it's a #1, so always worth considering. I was going to talk about The Last Barbarian, unless somebody else wants to talk about The Last Barbarian.
Actually, right before that, or right after what you just covered with Torrent, you have Almighty. It's the first issue of 5. I don't know the creators, Edward LaRocque and Brad Simpson, but they describe it as a Mad Max Fury Road style action comic. It's the year 2098 and a third world America ravaged by economic collapse, some kind of hyphenated word there, and a mysterious environmental disaster contained behind a massive wall. It doesn't seem like we probably will get to 2098 before something like that happens anyway. So that looks kind of cool, and the art looks pretty good. I'm glad they give some preview art in some of these titles that that they're putting out. So it looks really good.
Trying to find in the solicit here the word that you were stumbling on. That's my solicit. It's a little bit different than yours on the website.
It's like they're mixing the word anarchy and warfare. So
anarcho-warfare. That's what
anarcho-warfare. Yeah, I've just never even.
Yeah.
It's one thing about reading it and saying it inside your head, but then when you have to read it out loud, it's like I don't know if that's right.
These Last Barbarians is a new series written and drawn written by Brian Haberlin, art by Gerard Van Dyke, but the covers are also by Brian Haberlin, and these are incredible covers. This is a definite fantasy book, but man, you want to talk about when you think about some of the better fantasy artwork that you have ever seen, these 3 covers are incredible. It's a shame that I guess it would just probably take too much time for this guy to do the interiors and the covers. But if you are into fantasy art, you absolutely should be picking up all 3 of these books just because the covers are amazing. I would say the A cover would probably be my pick of the 3. It's more of an elven female fantasy warrior, but you have the second cover. It's more like a redheaded female barbarian, a la Red Sonja, a shorter haired, I would call an archer or ranger for the cover C, and then they actually have some virgin variants and a blank cover. But man, they're just knock you out good, these covers. So
I couldn't agree more. I had it flagged as well. The covers are one thing. But the interior is not bad either. It's not like it's a complete opposite of what you see on the covers. It's just maybe not as refined. But
And,
you
and
said
go ahead.
you said there was 3 of these. Is this a series of 3 one-shots, or
No,
is
there's
it?
an A, B, and C cover.
Oh, different
Yeah,
covers. Yeah,
yeah, different
got you. Yeah,
covers.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
three
Okay.
different covers. And this, the synopsis is not terrible. It's basically you're living in this world of magic where you had to be part of a guild.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this Sylve is her name. She's a jack of all trades, but she's not in one of the guilds. So she's having trouble making ends meet. So how does she survive in this world? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably going to have to pick up the first issue just to give this a shot. So
Yeah.
it's,
I'm with you there.
It definitely intrigues me. So anybody want to talk about Monarch?
I didn't have that one marked.
Not okay. Well, then I guess I'm gonna have to talk about it then. So we have Monarch issue number 1. Looks like it's a new ongoing written by Rodney Barnes, art and cover by Alex Lenz. Basically, the premise is basically an alien invasion comes to Compton. So I'm sure there will probably be some straight out of Compton references,
Mm-hmm.
but it's from the team who brought us Philadelphia. Alex Lenz is apparently one of Marvel's up and coming artists. Looks like it's going to be told from the viewpoint of some kids in Compton and how they are dealing with this alien invasion. And the aliens look very War of the Worlds-ish with their long legs and stuff like that. So
This almost made a cut. It's one of them deals where I'm like, how much can I get and how much can I keep up with in my reading? So,
and probably it's worth mentioning that this being the December previews is for books that are coming out in February, right?
yeah.
So February is Black History Month, right? So there's also some artists of color that are getting a little bit more featured in the book because these are books that are going to be coming out in February during that time frame. So
Very true.
that's all I have an Image. So whatever else you guys have an Image.
The only other thing I had an Image was a book called Blood Tree. That's a number 1 for it. Written by Pete Tomasi, art by Maxim Simic, and it's about these NYPD detectives that are on the hunt for a killer called the Angel Killer, who is a sociopath who preys on the innocent family members of known murderers in order to purify the rest of society. With the idea that if there's a murder, the bloodline must be purged completely. The cover looks awesome. I'm assuming this Angel Killer doesn't actually have wings, though that would be even cooler. I originally thought it was more like in a sci-fi kind of realm of like this actual angel that was coming down to kill, and maybe that's what the twist is, and I just ruined it. I don't know, but it seemed like it might be cool.
I'm trying to think if I am confusing Peter Tomasi with somebody else, because there was a book a while back. It was an indie book from Image. It was like a horror book. And I'm struggling to come up with the name of this book, but I bought it and it was like a horror book. Yeah, but it was like a an anthropomorphic, like pseudo erotic type horror type thing. It was really, really bizarre. So I did not continue on that book. And I thought it was Peter Tomasi that did that book. So I'm kind of a little gun shy on anything that he writes that's outside of Marvel DC, that's for sure. And I'm gonna have to find that title of that book because I make sure it's whether it was him or not. So
I didn't even see that. I didn't even see that in Image. I've been scanning these pages here because I have the physical catalog and I didn't see it. But I do on page 72. It's like the last new or standalone book before you start getting into collections and third or 19th or 8th issues or whatever of a series, and it's called Scurry. It's an animal action adventure for middle graders. So I earmarked it because every couple months I'll buy something for my 8-year-old granddaughter, and it's basically, you've got these cats that they're basically trying to survive, and it's basically only the enter a world where humanity is gone and only animals have survived, and you've got a colony of house mice, and they are on this journey, and they're trying to avoid the cats. So I'm sure my daughter or granddaughter would love that.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw where it was like Secret of Nim meets Mouse Guard kind of thing, and I was like, oh, I bet that would be good.
Yeah. I'll probably secretly read it with her, so my two reason for buying them.
That's right.
We get on to Boom then. Do you guys have anything?
Yeah,
in Boom?
I don't have anything in Boom. So
I do not either.
Well, let me see if I find any dog-eared pages. Nope, that moves us all the way to
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse, yeah.
I do have Blue Book in Dark Horse. I don't know if anybody else wants to talk about it, but
no.
Okay.
The biggest thing I know about Blue Book is this is Tynan's Substack book that is finally coming to print.
Okay, all right. And this is now the thing about this book, and I'm probably not going to pick this book up. And now you just made it even more obvious why I shouldn't pick it up. But this is going to be based on like true stories, like a true quote unquote true UFO abduction stories.
Yeah.
Right. Like the one that they're featuring here, and like the first issue is the one about I'm looking for their name, Betty and Barney
Hill. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that was even talked about in like the X-Files. So I expect that a lot of these are going to be pseudo covered from the, things that were talked about in like the X-Files TV show. But I guess we're far enough removed from the X-Files
That's
that
true. Yeah.
we can kind of start recycling some of these story ideas. But yeah, so for the person who likes the unexplained and apparently a quote unquote true story of UFO abductions, this is definitely a big book to pick up. So,
and I think all of it's done in this like kind of 3-color blue, black, and white kind of vibe, if I remember right from the preview that I had read on the Substack.
Okay. I got one more at Dark Horse. If anybody else has anything they want to talk about in Dark Horse,
I do. I don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine's a Space Job. Do you have that?
No.
Okay. It's on page 148. It's just a 4-issue series, and its premises basically after 5 long years of soul-crushing servitude as a chef's assistant, Danny Sheridan is getting his dream job in space as a first officer aboard the SS George H.W. Bush. On his first day, he finds himself crashing back to reality. Anyway, it seems kind of funny just thinking about, okay, this guy went from being a chef's assistant to being a first officer on a Star Trek style spaceship. So I don't know if it's meant to be somewhat humorous or what it is, but it caught my eye.
I'd say it has to be. It reminds me of what's that? The Orville, that show, where it's like kind of like a comedy spoof on Star Trek.
Probably. Scott, did you say you had something in?
Yeah, so also in Dark Horse we have Where Monsters Lie. Yes. So this apparently is, and if you have read anything by Kyle Starks, he has kind of an odd sense of humor. But I'd like to mention his book since he came to my show a couple of years ago. So this is his latest book. It's apparently what happens to all the serial killers whenever they're not out serial killing. So they basically kind of what they do, where they hang out, what they talk about while they're between killing sprees. So so from the mind of Kyle Starks, there you go. Where Monsters Lie, #1.
And it's only because, and this is on page 142, by the way, for folks out there with the catalog. This reminded me just hearing it's about serial killers. I had just finished the Sandman series on Netflix, and the episode with the serial convention.
Yes,
probably my favorite episode in the whole thing. Well, it actually crossed over a couple different episodes, but obviously has the same type of stuff going on with serial killers.
And it looks like it's a mix between real life serial killers and like horror movie slasher villains.
Sure, yeah.
In there, which I thought was that was an interesting move to not just set yourself completely in reality.
Yeah. I mean, because you have like obviously like the John Wayne Gacy clown, one, but you've got some other. Of course, I don't know. It's like the Town That Dreaded Sundown. I kind of see in there, and I assume that there are some made up ones as well. So
Yeah, they probably, I don't know that anybody would ever claim that there was copyright infringement, even if there was such a thing for the Gacy estate. But I actually, I worked on death row when he was on death row, and he used to have, he was famous for his paintings of clowns, but some other inmates, he would sell them, and other inmates would do their own paintings, and then he'd sign them, and then they'd split the profit. Yeah, so he was getting a lot of product out there. Of course, this is in the late 80s.
Yeah.
But once they figured out he was doing it, they stopped it.
Another thing in Dark Horse is the Masters of the Universe Masterverse #1. This is a 4-issue series. I'm sure that it will be more than 4 issues as they go on if it picks up well. But it's essentially little stories, little anthology stories about characters within the Masters of the Universe world. And so, yeah, written by Tim Seeley. It looks like art by a bunch of people, including Kelly Jones, Eddie Nunez,
Sergio Aragonis.
Yeah. So just kind of a fun thing if you're into the Motu world. I'm sure that they'll kind of keep expanding on that.
I thought you might, or one of you at least, would bring up this one. That's page 144.
I'm ready for IDW. Anybody else ready for IDW?
I got nothing in IDW.
Oh, well, you are mistaken, sir.
I don't even
need
see
to
where.
reevaluate your IDW selections, because what we have is the Dungeons and Dragons Saturday Morning Adventures #1. So they are finally giving us a comic book or a comic book continuation of that 3 seasons of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon from back in the, I'm trying to remember what year, the early 80s is what I'm guesstimating, though I'd have to look up and see what the exact year was, because this cartoon made it 3 seasons. They never actually got the characters home, right? So in the final episode, they were still kind of in the land, so the cartoon itself got canceled. I actually rewatched this 2 or 3 years ago, and it surprisingly holds up very, very well. So my only hope is it's written by Sam Maggs, art by George Cambadais. I do not recognize those names. And a name that should be here that is absent is the name of Mark Evanier, because he was a creative consultant on that cartoon series. So I am hoping that they at least talked to him, pitched their ideas to him, kind of got them approved before they actually took this to print. We unfortunately don't get to see either of the covers, but I will absolutely be buying this book.
Original series ran 83 to 85.
83. Okay, so I knew it was early-ish 80s, so thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could find the page for you guys, but since IDW doesn't have its own section anymore, I'm lost.
They still have their own section on the website, so
okay,
they haven't been put down to the other books on the website, and their choices seem to be expanding as opposed to contracting, like Valiant's choices seem to be. So. There's a lot of IDW books. So,
well, I earmarked page 276, and that's under Aardvark. So I guess I guess by now we would consider this the back.
Well,
of the book.
do you have anything from Dynamite?
I got 199 Dynamite.
Oh, that's why I thought when you said IDW, I was looking past Dynamite. So my bad.
Okay. Well, they probably are in the catalog. They probably are, but I'm just going off the website. So
okay, all right.
Oh yeah, so just one. I've never really been a facsimile edition person, but they finally did something that made facsimiles important to me. They did a Gargoyles #1 facsimile edition. You cannot get this book for like under 50 books, $50 at minimum. Usually it's more in the hundreds realm, because the original 90s Gargoyles comic series was, I think, probably a low print run, I would imagine. And it was a kids book, so they all got tore up. So super excited for this. I didn't think I would ever, because I've never collected it either. So I would have settled for a digital version, a trade, anything. And the fact that they're reprinting these issue by issue facsimile style is pretty exciting.
So my question, Chad, is: are you gonna splurge and buy the gold foil cover edition for $20?
No.
No,
I won't.
Stick with that basic $4 one. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I would need that. I don't think.
Yeah.
Just a completist in you. Are you a completist?
I'm good with the basic. I mean,
Okay.
I would have been good if they would have just pushed out a trade. I don't even need the individual
Okay.
issues.
All right. Okay.
They got plenty of variant covers for Gargoyles number 3.
Well, you
yeah.
didn't see all the variants there were for Gargoyles number 1.
yeah. I'm just saying, for an issue 3, there seems to be quite a few.
They're still rocking it. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Just something to point out, because this I think is new this month. But on I'm going for the catalog that's on the Diamond website, previewsworld.com, and they actually are listing all the DC comics and all the Marvel comics here.
Oh, wow.
They have an actual separate book, and this might actually be. Oh, this is where that Hallows Eve is. This is actually in Marvel, and it's listed.
It's a Marvel book, yeah.
It's listed on the website, and of course now I expanded DC, so I got to scroll all the way past it. But yeah, they have a book here, Hallows Eve. No information. Where's it at? It's in here someplace. I guess it's alphabetical. There
They don't have the main cover, but they've got the Art Germ cover.
Oh, can you actually see the cover in the?
There's a Art Germ variant that's available to see.
There it is. Okay, yeah. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different covers. Yeah. But they don't have any. You click on the link and there is nothing. Look for more information on this title in a future issue of Marvel's Preview. It's going to be in shops March 1st, which means it's going to be tight on ordering, possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those that if you wait until the January catalog, it may be past its order cutoff. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye out for this if anybody wants it. So. Okay, good. I can cross that off things I was looking for. So, rest of the book.
Yeah, rest of the book.
Okay, so I have this title here. I got to find it now. Harrowers number 1, I think is what it is, and it is listed as Boom Entertainment, but it wasn't listed back in the Boom section for some reason, unless Boom Entertainment is separate from
Boom
Comics?
Studios.
Boom Studios. Oh, okay. So this is Boom Entertainment, which that seems a little weird.
But I do remember that being in the Boom section in the big book when I had it, because I did have it in my hands for a little bit.
Okay. So anyway, there's this Harrowers number 1. Written by Justin Jordan, art by Bram Revel. Basically, you have a teenage girl obsessed with the Harrower, and she's basically able to kind of, I guess, playing on her fixation with this character. So it's kind of they call it a slasher genre deconstruction. So I guess fans of slasher genre should apply. Also in the back, we've got another book from Frank Miller Presents, Ancient Enemies, the Genie. I don't know, I guess for the completists, for the Frank Miller Presents stuff.
That is, and I don't have the page open, but that spelling DJINNI, that's a very close derivative of the original word the word genie came from. I believe it's Arabic.
Yes.
So I thought that was neat how they stayed very close to it.
Well, they play off that in the Ms. Marvel.
I was going to say the Jin was part of Ms. Marvel, yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, but yes, there were like a howling desert demon type of a creature. Yeah. I don't know where anything is book-wise.
We are lost as
yeah. So let's just call them out. Mike, pick something. Go. We'll just go round robin it. Yeah.
Just round. Okay, that's a good idea. Page 276. Not the page numbers matter if no one's got the book, but it's just it always cracks me up when Dave Sim puts out one of his Cerebus books, and this one's called Cancel America. It's so politicized. I almost even hesitate to talk about it.
That's why I skipped it.
Yeah, it's just very. But I'm not. So that's where I'll just leave it right there. It's Dave Sim. It's another. I think the last one I bought of his because I was intrigued was the COVID-19
Yes.
book. So very weird. But anyway, next.
Shad.
All right, I got out of AWA. This is on page 302 for anybody keeping score. Is a new book, #1, called Black Tape, written by Dan Panosian, and this is a rock and roll story. It's about a rock and roll god who projected a stage persona on par with the devil. After Jack dies on stage, his widow Cindy grapples with the grief and struggles to protect his legacy, unaware that she's being surrounded by dark forces that covet the master tapes of Jack's final unreleased album, a heavy metal masterpiece that just might open a doorway to hell. I thought it was pretty cool. The art is Dalibor Talajic. I like the kind of not finished look of that. Very kind of broken line kind of style that he's got. That seems like a pretty cool book.
And you know a little bit about rock and roll, correct?
A little bit.
Because Mike's a little bit country, Shad's a little bit rock and roll.
That's right.
I'm waiting to hear what you are, Scott.
I must keep myself out of that conversation.
Okay.
All right. Hey, this title just caught my eye because of the name. This is from Living the Line, and the name of the book is Centralia. And of course, we're about, depending on where we're at, we're 60 to 90 minutes from Centralia. Not that Centralia, though. So basically, this is an alternate Earth where if you stand on the ground, things start melting. So it's just kind of this it's just very, very odd little book. It's a graphic novel, so it's kind of like a one-shot type of a deal. But they're just trying to survive in this world where their feet can't touch the ground. So really, really odd, really, really different. And since I'd always say we're going to do round robin, but because I just noticed the publisher was Living the Line, another title that I have from Living the Line is Abolition of Man #5. And I'm just going to warn everybody about a bait and switch on this title. So I was excited about this first issue. I haven't read it yet, but I have it. I was really excited about it because it was basically an AI art adaptation of the letters / whatever from C.S. Lewis.
Right.
All right. And okay, fine. But basically the C.S. Lewis tie-in ends with issue 1. Issues 2 and 3 are the guy who's putting this together. He wrote his own little piece and put it to art. And it, from flipping through the book, it is about as far away from a C.S. Lewis thing as you can possibly get. So now I am stuck on whether or not, because I've already ordered the 3rd issue. So do I order 4 and 5 so I could just try to sell it as a set,
bundle,
or do I just cut my losses and run, right? Yeah. So So
#1 was rough. I'm glad that I only ordered #1 and that was it, because it immediately went into the get rid of pile.
Yeah, it was. I haven't read it yet, so that's probably going to be. I probably should cut my losses.
You might want to, yeah.
Throw it in the dollar box and just be done with it.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be an amalgam of a couple of things that I like. So apparently, the word of the podcast is amalgam. So
we used it a couple times now. Yeah.
The second issue, even if the first issue were great, the second issue is completely different. So might want to steer clear of that. All right, Mike, back to you. Pick something.
All right. Well, this is one of our traditions that we cover the page in the catalog that is called A Creator You Should Know. And it's on page 341. And it's just a little blurb on a creator in the industry. This time it's Marie Severin. And it says, beginning with coloring, A Moon, a Girl romance, #9, in October of 1949, Marie Severin became a highly regarded contributor to EC Comics. She labored there on the company's whole line: horror, action, adventure, science fiction, and she worked closely with her brother often, artist John Severin, and writer, artist, editor Harvey Kurtzman. So she's just one of those names that have been around the industry forever, and you never hear a cross word about her. She spent many, many years at Marvel. It says here that she re-entered the business shortly before Atlas became Marvel and was there for all of the Silver Age growth. She worked on Captain America, Captain Marvel, Daredevil, Strange Tales, The Submariner, Tales to Astonish, and X-Men. So just a hats off to her as a wonderful creator. And on to you, Shed.
All right, I've got on page 318 is from the publisher CEX, is 7 Years in Darkness. It's written and art by Joseph Shalamaki, maybe.
That's a fun one to say.
Yeah, it's about the Academy of the Black Magic reopening its doors for the first time in 200 years. Essentially, this is a black magic school that only opens up every so many years, lets 72 kids in. Only 7 will graduate and come out alive from their 7-year journey. So it seems like a hardcore Harry Potter. So it seemed pretty cool. The cover art's really neat. So I'm not familiar with the creator at all. But I do like saying his name, and I do like his cover art.
It gets the featured item label in previews.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before I go to my next book, I finally remembered the name. It wasn't Peter Tomasi. It was Peter Milligan.
And yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and the book title was The Discipline. Yeah, that's one to stick clear of. I finally rattled around in my brain long enough. I stopped thinking about it, and then it popped in there. So, anyway, okay. So my next book is from Storm King Productions. This is John Carpenter's Tales of Science Fiction: The Envoy. This is going to be a 3-issue series. John Carpenter didn't write it, but he's got his name associated with it. So I guess if you're a fan of The Fog or The Thing or Halloween or any of the other Dark Stars, any of the other John Carpenter works from throughout his career, I guess he's at least putting his name on this. I get the feeling this is something that he's done before, since it's Tales of Science Fiction: The Envoy. So apparently there's another Tales of Science Fiction with John Carpenter.
I've seen John Carpenter's, I thought it was just called Science Fiction, was maybe a book that he had written at one point in time. A comic that he had written was maybe just called Science Fiction, and maybe this is an offshoot that is part of it. I don't know.
I've only got one more thing comic book wise.
I'm right after I finally found IDW, by the way. But it's on page 361. It's not under Tomorrow's. I forget what press it's under, but it's the Best of DC War Artist Edition hardcover. So it's black and white art. If you like that, it's oversized at 12 inches by 17, 160 pages. It's got the what does the PI stand for? Does that mean you have to
please inquire
about the price?
Please inquire.
Yes. Price inside, whatever. It's so it's one of them deals where you'd have to ask your store owner to give you a price on it. But anybody that's really focuses on art, I'd say this would be a nice addition to your collection. Okay, Chad.
All right, I've got I'm right after you, which is great. It's on 369. Is Mad Cave Studios Tales from Nottingham #1. I only mention this because we have Nottingham on our list of books to read for your show, and so I was like, oh, cool. This has got an offshoot. I'm assuming just kind of building on the characters within the Nottingham universe.
Yes, I had it marked as well. There's nothing more I can say about it, but I recognized not just the name of the book, but also the creator, David Hazan.
Yes.
Yep. Cool.
My last thing, comic book related, is actually kind of more of a warning. So they have a solicit again for Fantastic Four Full Circle graphic novel. This is the Alex Ross one from Abrams Art. This is an offered again. It's already out there in the wild. If you want this book, just jump on Amazon and order it, or go to a traditional bookstore. They've already got it there. They can already get it. So don't wait until February to pick this up. But
I seen that in the Marvel catalog. So yeah,
they had an ad for it, but it's actually from Abrams Art. Abrams Art is the one who is doing the posters, the blacklight posters as well. So it's the same company. So they're doing some of these other, I don't know, boutique type books and prints and stuff like that.
I got something on 392 called The Banshees, or just Banshees. It's a spotlighted book. It's the writer Dave Dwanch. It's focusing on a young woman named Emily entering college. It sounds very reminiscent of I think the book he did before was Jenny Zero. But I've heard of him. I've read a little bit by him. So it makes me kind of want to take a look at this. So we'll see if I do.
I've got on, once again, still just right behind you. Page 408 is from Sumerian Comics as Rock and Roll Hell #1. We got two nice rock and roll titles this month. And this one is about a big metal festival in Finland, and with their giant elaborate pyrotechnic show, the second coming of Christ happens, and so Christ comes down and looks at all these metalheads and decides that if this is what Earth has become, then he's just going to damn Earth. And so this metal band has to summon the forces of hell to fight back against the damnation from Christ.
Oh boy.
So some real good ones.
Yeah.
Everything I have is from side 2, so
Okay.
I don't have anything common.
All right.
I got one more.
I got one more too.
Okay, go ahead.
It's real quick. It's just my obligatory tomorrow's, trying to promote them. It's Alter Ego issue number 181. And it's a Neil Adams issue paying tribute to him as one of the giants in the Silver and Bronze Age. So you can't really go wrong. Even if you just want to look at the art, maybe read a little bit of the articles, you're going to get your money's worth getting this magazine. Okay, on to you, Shad.
All right, and my last thing is on page 430 is the relaunch of Heavy Metal, now owned by Whatnot Publishing.
Oh, I did
So
see
this
that.
is Heavy Metal Volume 2, #1. This is the first time they've rebooted Heavy Metal ever. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it'd be cooler if they just kept the legacy number and just kept going, but I see what they've got to do.
Well, at least if they can make it at least more than 2 years without renumbering it back to #1, then that's a plus on their part.
Absolutely. If they can just go, we bought it, we're going to start it with a 1 and just continue on
and
from
continue
there.
as long as they have it.
Yes, absolutely. Then they're good. I've always been a casual fan of Heavy Metal magazine. I don't pick it up regularly, but it's nice to see that it's continuing on in its little form. And I'm done with the big book. That side.
You can notice
Same
that.
here.
I might have to pick up a copy of that myself. Okay. I did not see any Universal Monsters to point out in the back.
There was one.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You gotta
crossover
count it.
Does not count. No.
It's my favorite.
Okay, go ahead. You can talk about it then.
All right, on page M39, Universal Monsters versus TMNT, we get the Donatello as the Invisible Man figure.
Is it just an
Oh
empty
my
box?
gosh.
Huh?
Is it just an empty box?
Yes, that'd be awesome. And that's all I've got.
I have two things on the.
Okay.
One is in apparel. So I know there are a lot of people who love the 90s X-Men animated series, right? So they've got a 90s X-Men animated T-shirt that has kind of like some of the X-Men on the cover there, or on the front of the shirt. And then the other thing, and this is tying back to the IDW book, they're releasing a new set of Dungeons and Dragons cartoon 6-inch figures. So they're releasing 3 of the characters here: the Ranger, the Acrobat, and the Barbarian. So 3 of the main characters. So I'm interested. I can't start on doing toys, but I'm okay with the comics. I'm gonna try not to pull the trigger on these on these figures, but you know, that's one of my highlights memory wise of my childhood. So Mike, you got anything else?
No, I think I covered everything.
Okay. All right. Well then, what we got next, Shad? Do we even know what we have next?
Next, unless we change it, we do know what we're doing next. So on our next episode, which is episode 149, we'll be covering Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, as well as Demon Knights, the DC New 52 series, the whole entire thing, issues 1 through 18.
It's longer than that.
Oh, that's what I had written down.
22.
All of it, let's just say.
Yeah, that's all of it. Yeah, it's more than 18 issues. It's
more than 18, less than 30.
18 issues, yes. Yeah. I want to say 22 or 24 for some reason.
24 feels good.
I think it's more like 22.
Okay.
I think it had like 2 5-issue stories and then some 6-issue stories. So the first 2 arcs are better than the last half, but it's still solid through. So anyway.
Gotcha.
All right. So Mike, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, where would they do that at?
They would do that at m.atchison90 at gmail.com. And
90, that's the year you were born, right?
That's right. Yeah. And I just thought, why not? I'll go ahead and put my Twitter handle out there again, just because maybe, who knows how long Twitter will be out there. I'm Mike Atchison 5.
Shad, what about you?
You can find me on Facebook at Shad Schubert, ShaadSchubert.
This is Scott Reed. You can find me at bergcomics.com with links to all of my social media, eBay store, and all the funness that there is there to find. And we will be back soon with another episode. All right.
Did we want to? We didn't do our investment or what we're looking forward to pick.
Oh, well then we should just keep going.
Perfect.
Yeah, we could.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
we're rolling.
I'm not even gonna edit that out. I'm just gonna leave that there.
Wonderful.
And I'm glad you thought of it because we got the dramatic pause there, right? So okay, all right, so good. Well, since you thought of it, Mike, what do you want to do as far as you want to do your looking forward to or investment pick first?
Well, for change, I actually have an investment pick, but I'll go ahead and do what I'm looking forward to. It's just Superman #1. Like I said, I was glad that series is going to be back, and we'll see how Joshua Williamson and Jamal Campbell handle the character and his expanding cast.
Shad, what are you looking forward to?
That Gargoyles #1 facsimile edition.
I guess that.
There wasn't a lot of super exciting things this month, but that was the one that I got giddy about.
Well, my giddiness, as you can probably tell, was from the Dungeons and Dragons Saturday Morning Adventures #1, and that is the book that I am most excited for.
I could tell that too.
In February, yeah. So, all right, you said you had an investment pick, Mike. So, what's your investment pick?
I do. It's not even a DC. It's the Silver Surfer. What was it? I wrote it down, but I can't remember my handwriting. Ghost Light. Yes.
Did you write that down after I mentioned it or before?
Oh no, before. I actually seen that. Yeah,
wow,
I did. Yeah, that. And there was another one that was had a first appearance or a new character, but Shad had mentioned it, so I didn't want to. So I thought I'd mention this one because I usually don't bring up a non-DC book as an investment pick.
All right, Shad, what about you?
This month was hard for me. Nothing was really like, oh, I bet that's gonna go crazy. But I think we mentioned last month, and maybe we will all through this year, is that Amazing Spider-Man 19 with the variant Disney 100 cover, especially if it's a 1 in 100. That's gonna be a big get if you can get a hold of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna echo your excited pick for my investment pick because of the fact that so many people are going to, not even realize there's a new Gargoyles series coming out. And when they find out that they can get a copy of the original first issue of the series, even though it is a facsimile, knowing how much that book is going for,
right.
That is a book to grab a few copies of just to, you can probably, I don't think it's going to be 10 times your money, but you can double your money, triple your money really, really easy on that book in a very short period of time. So, all right. And since we've already done our outro, we'll just say we'll see you next episode.
Done the second time. Thank you, Mike. He's not even there. How is muted? You're still muted. You're still muted. Still muted. He's like, what the hell? Now we're getting sign language. I must have hit it. I was trying to split my screen, evenly, and inadvertent button push. And now I don't even have to do anything for the stinger at the end. I'll just leave that there, speed it up, and done. I'm a team player. I'm always happy to contribute. I'm glad you could oblige. Yeah, that's right.